Hi guys, welcome to Mendoza Makes. I'm Michelle Mendoza and today we are making enchiladas. If you've never had enchiladas before or never made them at home, usually they're a tortilla that's been dipped in a tomato-based chili sauce that you fry and fill with meat, beans, vegetables, cheese, basically anything. Today I'm going to be filling mine with some chicken, some cheese, and some beans. So I'll show you how I make my tortillas, how I make the sauce, and then how I assemble the enchiladas. Unfortunately, at this point my mic died and I didn't know about it, but I used 2 Roma tomatoes, a quartered white onion, 12 guajillo chilies, 3 cloves of garlic, and 3 or 4 arbol chilies. I roasted them in my pan for about 5 to 10 minutes until they were nice and roasted and I could smell the peppers. That's how you know it was done. Then I covered them with 2 cups of chicken broth, just the peppers, not the tomato, onion, and garlic. And I covered them in tinfoil and let them steam in the boiling chicken broth for 30 minutes. You can also use boiling water if you want to. The chicken broth I use for the added flavor. And then with the onions, tomato, and garlic, I just added them to the blender because later we're going to blend the sauce with the peppers once they're done steaming in the broth. For the tortillas, I use 346 grams of flour, 6 grams of salt, 6 grams of baking powder. Give that a good mix to make sure your dry ingredients are distributed. Then add 33 grams of oil, lard, or shortening, whichever you like. Mix that up and break up the oil or fat that you added to the dry ingredients so that it makes kind of these little clumps in the dough. Then add 189 milliliters of warm water. Not hot, just warm. Then give that a good mix. Once the dough comes together, you can turn it out onto a cutting board and knead it for a while until it becomes a smooth ball. It will be pretty sticky and I usually have to add quite a bit of flour to mine to make it not so sticky. You can also make enchiladas using corn tortillas. I use flour for mine because they're a lot more forgiving and pliable to bend around, and I like the flavor better. It's up to you. Once your dough is in a pretty smooth ball, cover it with a kitchen towel and let it rest for 10 minutes. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. We're going to divide the dough into the pieces we're going to use to make tortillas. And for these, I'm going to make them pretty small tortillas. I want them taco size, not burrito size. You want it to be at a pretty high heat when you cook these, or when you fry them. You don't need any oil, just fry them in the pan bare. You're only going to fry them on each side for about 30 seconds. It's very quick. Forming them is actually the part that takes a little bit. I use a rolling pin, and in my experience this is pretty kind of sticky, so I use a generous amount of flour and I try to get them in a circle. They don't end up that way a lot of the time because I'm not a machine. I'm a human being, and that's okay. They tend to puff up a lot when you fry them. So what I go for here to make sure that they're thin enough is if I can see the grain of my cutting board through the tortilla dough. Then I know it's thin enough and it's ready to go on the skillet. So that looks pretty good to me. And I'm just going to throw it on there and start the next one. And when I put it in the skillet, what I'm looking for to tell me when to turn it over is when it puffs up. When there's bubbles in the dough and it's puffing, time to flip it over. And then I leave it for about 30 more seconds on the opposite side, and then I take it off and do the next one. It usually puffs up faster than this, so this tells me that my skillet wasn't hot enough. It needed to be warmer. So that's fine. I'll leave this one in there until it starts being puffy, but I do need to keep an eye on it because it could burn. And I like to keep a towel on a plate to the side, and then as they come off, I just put them on the plate and cover them to keep them warm. I'm gonna flip this one. See, that's not brown enough. I need to turn the heat up. You can tell that I've been baking or using flour and making dough because I'm always doing this on my apron, and then I have a handprint. This is good, this is better. The heat's getting higher. Excellent. I'm gonna take this first one off. We're gonna call this one done. And then you just rinse and repeat until they're all done. You're my starlight, I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. Something's happening with my pan or my burner. So, and it's not like staying hot. I don't know what the deal is. But I think I'm going to have to finish these over on the stove. So I'm gonna go do that. You have flour all over your cutting board? Bench scraper.
Sparkle, sparkle.
Okay, I've finally got the tortillas done. I don't know what's wrong with my burner. Whatever, moving on to the sauce. So I'm putting on gloves because I don't want my hands to be on fire for the rest of the night. I am going to de-seed and de-stem the peppers and then add them to the blender and blend them up for our sauce with some spices that I have here. Contrary to popular belief, it is not the seeds that make peppers spicy, it's the membrane on the inside. So if you get rid of that membrane, it'll keep them from being like way spicy. The seeds I get rid of because they add a bitter flavor that I do not appreciate. The arbol chilies are so small that it's kind of hard to get all of the seeds out. But what I do is I just pinch the pointy end and then squeeze down the length of it like you would with a tube of toothpaste. And then to the blender I'm gonna add the water that the chilies were soaking in. Well, the broth. I might add a little bit more liquid, but I'm gonna blend it first and see what the consistency is and then add more water if I want to. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of cumin, not too much, probably just half a teaspoon or so. Some salt, and I like to add some cinnamon to mine. I don't know, it does something special to it. I guess that's my secret ingredient. Now we blend. Just shake it to see what consistency it is. It's pretty thick. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Holy crap. Oh my god, it smells so good. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, with enchilada sauce, you want it to be pretty liquefied and homogeneous, which means no little like chunks. So I can see still little chunks of garlic and stuff in here, and it's not quite liquefied. So I'm going to blend it one more time and then we can continue on. So that's a pretty good consistency to me. And there's not really any little chunks in there that I can see. So I'm going to consider this blended. Oh my god, it smells so good. Oh my god, that smells so good. Oh my god. Okay, moving on. Stop sniffing the sauce like a weirdo. Now, you might think that we're done here with the sauce and we can just make our enchiladas now, but you'd be wrong. We're gonna take it one step further, and now we're gonna cook our sauce for, usually I do like 15 to 30 minutes. It'll help deepen the flavor and create a rich, full texture even more than it is now. And while I do that, I'm also going to cook the chicken that's gonna go on the inside. Let's go. Okay, so I've got my two pans preheating. I'm going to use this one for the sauce. I am gonna add just a little bit of canola oil in there. I'm going to just simmer the sauce for anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes. Just put a lid on it while I do the chicken. For the chicken, I just gonna add a little bit of oil there too. I just have these little chicken tenders. You could use thighs if you had that. You can use beef. You can fill the enchiladas with whatever. I'm also going to make some onion and cheese ones. So this is going to be one of the fillings that I'm going to use. And you know what? I'm actually going to take some of this sauce and cook it in this. Sounds like a good idea to me. I'm gonna turn the heat on the chicken to medium-high and then just let it cook in the sauce until it's fully cooked. And then I'm actually going to probably shred it up for putting in the enchiladas. So my chicken is looking like it's pretty much going to be done now. I'm gonna take this off and let it cool. But this is a great example of just using the enchilada sauce to cook your meat in as well. You can use it as a marinade, as a sauce on things. I mean, it has so many uses. It's great. If you're using canned beans like I'm using, one way to kind of enhance the flavor and texture of them is to fry them in a skillet with a little bit of oil. It really makes a big difference. I was really surprised the first time I did this instead of microwaving them. But this is how you can kind of cheat at home to give your canned beans that like restaurant flavor and texture. Just fry them with a little bit of oil. Or if you have it, you can use lard or bacon grease even. Just whatever kind of thick fat that you have. So if you've never had cotija cheese before, it's really crumbly like feta cheese. Like I can break it in half like that. And then you can just crumble it in your hand, like if you make a fist, and it just crumbles like this. That's the texture. The taste of it is very tangy, like feta cheese is, and it melts fairly well. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is prepare all of my fillings and everything so it's ready to go. I'm gonna dice some of this lettuce to add as a topping. I really like the added crunch because the rest of it is gonna be kind of just a mushy texture. There's nothing really crunchy about it. So I like to add shredded lettuce on the top as that added texture. And also the same with some diced white onion. You can put it inside if you like it inside, or you can just put it on top as a garnish. Another thing that I've seen someone do that sounded really tasty, and I think I'm gonna try it, is mixing it in with some cheese and do like cheese and onion on the inside of your enchilada. So I'm gonna shred the chicken, dice the onion, dice the lettuce, and set out everything so that it's ready to go, and then I can start assembling the enchiladas. I'm ready to start assembling these enchiladas. I'll show you guys my kind of method for doing this, and hopefully that's helpful. I put my sauce and my tortillas right next to the pan because what I'm gonna do is dip the tortillas, both sides, into the sauce and then put it into the frying pan. Then I have my fillings over here ready to go so that I can just grab them and add them to the enchilada while it's in the pan. So let's go. And you can see now the sauce got thicker after I cooked it. You want it to be about the consistency of heavy cream. So this is probably a little, ooh, pardon me, I went through puberty right there. This is probably a little too thick, but it should be fine. It's not a big deal. So this is preheated, so now I'm gonna take my tortilla, and you're gonna get messy, so just it's fine, commit to it. Sauce all over your fingers. I'm gonna coat my tortilla in sauce and then put it in my pan, and you want it to sizzle like that. That's how you know that it's hot enough. And I'm gonna let it cook on this side for 30 seconds-ish. And then I'm gonna flip it over to the other side, let that cook. And when I flip it over, I'll add my toppings in the middle. So I'm gonna add my filling on the inside. And this is not a burrito, it's an enchilada. So you're not adding that much, just a little bit of filling in there. And then all you're gonna do is fold it over on itself and fold it one more time to roll it like that. I use this side of my pan, and I'm right-handed, so I always tend to fold to the left. So I use the side of my pan to help me roll it or fold it all the way through. And that seems to work really well. And then I'm gonna start the next one. You just rinse and repeat. I'm gonna turn my oven to 170, so it's just a very low temperature to keep them warm while I fry them all up. And once you make a couple of them, you'll kind of get like an assembly, like a rhythm down, so that it'll be easier for you to keep making them, and you'll get like a little bit faster. It doesn't really take that long. Okay, I can see that like some stuff is starting to stick to my pan, so I'll probably add some more oil at this point when I get this one out of here.
Later.
Okay, here's my plate of enchiladas. I'm going to top it with some chopped onion and cotija cheese and some shredded lettuce. So like I said, I like that texture. Time to try. A favorite part. This is like roulette. I don't remember which filling is which. I got beans. Let's see. Ooh, the sauce has a good, like, deep, roasty flavor. The onion. The crunchy white onion on the inside and on the outside, with the melty cotija cheese, and like the crunchy lettuce on top, and the creamy beans. Oh, so many textures. It's really good. And I'm pretty proud of this sauce too. It's got a very deep roasted flavor, and like even though I used quite a bit of arbol chilies that are really spicy, it's not crazy spicy. You still get flavor. My pet peeve is sauces that are just heat. Like I don't want hot sauces and salsas and things that are just burn your face off. Like I want some flavor and depth to the sauce. The technique is what does that, like roasting the peppers and then letting them kind of steam in that broth or water, whichever one, and then blending it and then cooking the sauce again. Like all of those steps add to the flavor at each step. You can skip one of the steps if you need to, like if you need to make it faster, you can skip the roasting peppers and stuff, but it does make a huge difference. If you don't believe me, try it a couple times, different ways, and see which one you like better. The good thing about enchiladas is you can fill them with whatever you want. So many things can go in here. It's endless. The things that you can fill it with, it's just, use your imagination. Let me know in the comments what you guys like for your filling and topping in your enchiladas. What do you usually put in them? I like to get ideas from all sorts of different people, so let me know, and maybe we can learn from each other. I'm gonna go finish devouring all of this now. If you like this video or you learned something, give it a like. If you would like to learn more, subscribe to my channel. I upload every Friday. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!